You are now tuned into All Day Football Talk, where we talk all football from NFL to XFL, college, and more. Stay tuned as we explore the world of football. Are you ready?
Welcome back again. This is episode 4, Strictly NFL. Thank you guys. We have a little bit of information as far as the CBA, some potential moves, and also some releases and signings by teams so far. Well, in the news, we saw on NFL Network that they gave an extension to the NFL players for the vote of the CBA. Now, even though they got that extension, if their vote was already in, they cannot change their vote. So therefore, their vote is already counted if they've already turned it in. But they're giving an extension to those who have not put their vote in and want a little bit more time, especially if this was the last one that the owners were going to go ahead and process to them. So therefore, it's basically a, hold on, wait a minute, let me check some things out, and then I'll get back to you kind of situation. Therefore, guys, let me tell you something. The NFL's owners and the NFL players need to get this together, because at the end of the day, this is only going to be detriment to both sides, on owners and on the NFL players. Now, more on the NFL players because you don't have that much of a voice, and they're giving you a little bit more. Now, if you try to fight them too much, they could say, oh, so you want to fight? Okay, well, so instead of what we're going to give you, let's give you less than what you're asking for, plus less than what you were getting before. How's that? You know, so at the end of the day, until you have the option that the NBA players have to where, you know, you were able to fight for that and able to say, okay, now, no, we're not going to accept this, because at the end of the day, you're getting this and we need to put something in here for that. Now, I personally, I don't see anything wrong with the CBA. 17 games for more money. At the end of the day, those teams, again, and players that might not have had the opportunity before will get an opportunity with this one. Now, I am hearing rumblings of there being owners who might want this one to fail so that they can offer up the 18-game series. Now, I know to get 18 games, the players are going to want a lot. So at least 50% of revenue, they're going to want at least for the franchise tag to be away, done with. And then they're also going to want healthcare for life. At the end of the day, to get what you want, is that really a bad option to give them that? Owners, I'm going to say this, that you, to get 18 games, more of a risk, you're going to have to give up more. Now, speaking of giving up more, it was said last week that Josh Norman was released by the Redskins. Well, it didn't take him that long to find a new home. Josh Norman has now signed with the Buffalo Bills for a 1 year deal worth $6 million. Now, I haven't gotten into the big information, so I don't know if there's any incentives included or anything of that nature, but I will get that information. Now, not only is a new signing happening in Buffalo, we also have the Rams hiring a new strength and conditioning coach. His name is Justin, and I think I see why, because in the last season that they played this past season, they looked like they really didn't have too much strength or conditioning the whole season. They would win the games that they were supposed to lose, but then lose the games that they were supposed to win, especially against the Browns. That should not have happened. At the end of the day, they needed, and so therefore I feel they went ahead and made these situations happen for themselves to do better. And hey, do what you gotta do to make yourself where you need to be. But not only there, we're gonna move over to the east of LA, and we're gonna go to Las Vegas, where the Raiders have released linebacker Tahir Whitehead. Now, this one's a little bit of a shock. The reason it's a little bit of a shock for me is because I was not expecting Tahir to get released. I mean, it's not like he was a horrible player. He wasn't a superstar, but you could tell this was a financial reason of, releasing such a player who actually did pretty good for them, especially having the ability to tackle as good as he did. Now, would I recommend the Chiefs picking him up? No. He's not right for the kind of play that Spagnuolo does. He's not that type of player that you can go ahead and put into that Spagnuolo defense. I would not recommend it, but Spagnuolo might think that he can adjust the young man and make sure that he does good. So we will see if he was to go to the Chiefs, what would happen. But you can tell that this definitely was a money decreasing or increasing, should I say, cut. More cuts have happened. Safety / corner, so we're just going to call him a DB. Trumaine Johnson, who was given an extension, or not an extension, but was given a lot of money, about $75 million back, I'll say about 2 or 3 years ago when the Rams let him go, has now been released by the Jets. They're calling him a free agency bust. Now, I know that has to be something to where I would feel disrespected if somebody called me a fantasy bust or a franchise bust or a free agent bust, especially if I know that I'm a good player. But Trumaine, you weren't doing too much. I mean, the receivers were catching a lot on you guys. You lost to the Bengals, and the Bengals weren't that good. There's a reason they have the number 1 overall pick this year. So I can see why they did it. Not only is it a financial reason, but it's also he wasn't playing that good this year. I say a best fit that I could see for Trumaine Johnson, it would have to be him going to the Jaguars. The reason I say this is because he's more of a he's more of a I'm a hitter than being able to run with the receivers or tight end. He's more of a I can hit you real good, but I can't cover real good, and all they had him doing was covering. So Trumaine, I say Jaguars would be best, especially with the regime that they're doing. They have not been that good this last year, shall I say. The year before that, they were semi-good. They could have been better. Could have been way better, especially having Ramsey on your team. That dude is one of the best players in the league. And I really think they could have did way better with him on the team. But when you have front office having a different mindset than the coaches, then it's always going to be a butting head situation with the players, because you don't have that middleman that is on either side. And he's just sitting back like, oh, well, what's going on? Why is this happening? Why did my player get traded when this is my best defensive player? So, Jaguars, hopefully you guys do something to make yourself better. And I don't think trading a Boye to the Broncos was the best thing for you. I'm gonna just be honest. Not at all. When I went to the game with my wife, we were at the Chiefs versus Jaguars game. We won 41-28. And when I tell you it was so many Chiefs fans there, you would have thought we were in Kansas City, but it was so hot. It was so hot I had to go into the little tunnel to make sure I didn't fall out. That's how hot it was. Sun beaming. You had to rock just not to fall out. You drink so much water and still felt like you're dehydrated. That's how hot it was. But that game was the best game I had ever seen. And I want to say a big shout out to my beautiful wife for getting that for me for my birthday. It was one of the best birthday gifts you could ever give your husband. So thank you, baby. I hope you're listening. But it was one of the best games I had ever seen because the Chiefs were on one. Sammy Watkins was catching the ball. You had, Patrick Mahomes throwing good plays. You had tight end Travis Kelce doing some great things. And so it was crazy how the first game of the season started in Florida, and then they end the season winning the Super Bowl in Florida. So it was just crazy. I wish I could have been there in the Super Bowl, but I digress. This season is going to be amazing, not only for the Chiefs, because I feel like he's going to go back, but it's going to be a good season for all the players who, are coming in from college, who are going in different places for free agency. I feel like there's a whole lot of opportunity there, and I hope that you grab on to it because I'm excited to see everybody that's coming in. Thank you again for joining All Day Football Talk. We love you.
Thank you for tuning into All Day Football Talk. Subscribe and follow the podcast to get more cutthroat football.